Hello there, Patriots, viewers, friends, and family. Today's video, we're going to be discussing the philosophy behind our bug out bags. We're going to be talking about the bag itself, but I want you to kind of understand why we do what we do. And that way, as we go along through the series, you'll have a better understanding of where I'm coming from. If you enjoyed this series, please like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Make sure you spread the word. We want to reach as many people as we possibly can. We're spending a few minutes today to discuss a bug out bag. We get a lot of questions about that. Everybody wants to know what's in your bug out bag. Why do I need a bug out bag? Who gets a bug out bag? To be honest with you, they told me to go through the place, pick out what I wanted, throw it in a bag, and then we'll go from there. So my plan is I just grab stuff off the shelf. It's still going to be in packaging. We're going to rip this thing open and we're going to kind of tear it apart. And then we will, moving forward in our series, we'll talk about each individual pieces and parts and where they fit. We're going to cover a lot of ground here, and we may do this in a set of series of videos. But just work with me, and we'll do the best we can on what we have. Every time I pull something out, I'm going to try to put it in a category for you guys. Now, there's a few categories that I personally feel like are important. There's some rules that I feel like are important. I think if you understand the thought process, it will be easier for you to follow along. What I do in a regular day is I educate and I demonstrate to allow other people to imitate. I think that there are basic categories that we should always cover no matter how you build your bug out bag. These are categories that must be met. These categories are pretty straightforward. I always put them in this order. Defense is always first, medical next, fire is next, then shelter, then water, then food, then signaling, then navigation. I cover these basics because I want you to have a confidence in what you build will do what you need it to do. Depending on the mileage that you have to go, how far you go, what your personal situation is, you can add and subtract. This is always about personal preference. Rule number one is always to take care of number one. Sounds selfish. The reality is that if you are in a position of responsibility for your family, for your children, for friends, even for your pets, everyone around you depends on you. So we have to make sure that rule number one is to take care of number one, and number one is you. We see this in the military whenever you have incoming fire from the enemy, someone gets hit. If we send a guy out there immediately to pull this guy out of the field, what we have is a field medic that may take rounds and he goes down. Well, now everybody in the unit can no longer function because they've just lost their medic. So rule number one is always to take care of number one because everybody depends on you. Safety and security is always first and it's always last. Safety might be as simple as a pair of safety goggles because you're in a bad situation, dust, dirt, trash. You have to have something to cover your eyes. You can't see. It can be as simple as just knowing where to go and where not to go, who to be with, who not to be with, what time of the day to travel. Security is important. For the same reason that we lock our house doors, for the same reason that we lock our car, we always want to make sure that they're secure. Rule number two is to have a backup for your backup. Two is one is none. Basically, all they're saying is that if you have a single way to build a fire and that single way breaks down or fails on you, then how else do you make a fire? Every time that I build a fire, I'm not going to rub two sticks together unless maybe one of them is a match. I do that because technology is modern enough that we are able to do what we need to accomplish. It also means that the gear that you carry, the gear that you have with you, needs to have multiple purposes. You have to think of the multiplicity of the products that you carry, whatever that gear and equipment is. Rule number three is that you can last about 3 seconds without thinking. That sounds funny, but if you step out in front of a moving bus without thinking, then there's no survival for you. Seconds make up minutes. This is an easy way for you to remember as we build these kits, as we go along, how to organize. 3 seconds without thinking, 3 minutes without air. So you have to be able to breathe. Your air can be cut off with a rear naked choke. It can be because you've fallen into the water. It could be as simple as a fire. So you need to know that 3 minutes is about how long you're going to last without good air. Minutes make up hours. You need to plan for shelter from the extreme elements 3 hours. We're mammals. We have to have a constant temperature. But shelter really begins with the clothes that you wear. Always make sure that you have a set of clothes that will hold up to the wind and the rain or the sun. 3 hours without adequate shelter. You need to make sure that you are prepared to create shelter somehow. And we'll talk about how to do that a little later. 3 hours, and hours make up days. You can last 3 days without water. If you go 3 days and you haven't had any pure, clean water, then your body begins to shut down way earlier than 3 days. We're talking about survival here. Days make up weeks. You can go 3 weeks without food. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be pleasant, but you can do it. In your lifestyle, you have to decide what your diet looks like. So make sure that you eat right. Make sure that you're paying attention to the food that's going into your body. Weeks make up months. 3 months without hope. You don't hear very much about this. It's not always a survival situation. We're out in the middle of the wilderness. We have a lot of individuals that are in society today that just feel like they're so hopeless. You go 3 months without having any kind of interaction with another human being, good, bad, or indifferent. Your mind is not designed to function like that. We are social animals. So 3 months is about the maximum that you can expect to have survival without any kind of hope. So these things are just basic tenets for you to know where I'm going. And hopefully as we continue to grow together and learn together, you can identify those things as we move forward. So that's basically my rules for the day. Hope that helps you out. Hope that gives you some good information. As we continue to move forward, we will discuss the different categories. I want you to really kind of grasp why we choose the pieces of gear that we choose, and so that you can customize your bag to what you need. Please subscribe, hit that bell notification, hit that like, comment, let us know what you think about our series, and we will continue bringing you the best that we can.